This is the presentation on Chapter 8 of Domain 2, and the topic is Select Controls and Countermeasures Based on System Security Evaluation. This is presented by Steve Bamigboye and Oluseyi Akinpade. The chapters in these presentations are Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and the reference. Background information. If we look at the roots of information security, we quickly learn that long before information security was tackled head-on by the private sector, it was heavily designed and implemented at the government levels. We're going to talk about Trusted Computer Security Evaluation, which is TCSEC. It's a standard from the Department of Defense that discusses rating security controls for computer systems. It's also often referred to as the Orange Book. The standard was originally released in 1983 and updated in 1985 before being replaced by the Common Criteria Standard in 2005. The U.S. Department of Defense National Computer Security Center (NCSC) developed Model to Purchase Trusted Computer in 1983. The Orange Book is a standalone trusted computer which contains the first complete definition of trusted computer based. It is based on Bell-LaPadula model. Red Book is a sources network interpretation, which also part of the Rainbow series. The Orange Book standard includes 4 categories of security classes, which are Category A, verified protection, and this is the highest level of security. We have Category B, which is the mandatory protection. We have Category C, which is discretionary protection, and we have the Category D, which is the minimal protection. This is reserved for systems that has been evaluated but do not meet requirements to belong to any other category. The TSEC continues. The level of TSEC that we have, the levels of TSEC, okay, we have discretionary protection, which is the class C, and class C1 and C2, category C1 and C2. Discretionary protection system provide basic across control. Systems in the category do provide some security controls but are lacking in some sophisticated and stringent controls that address specific needs for secure systems. C1 and C2 systems provide basic control and complete documentation for system installation and configuration. Mandatory protection, which is the category B1, B2, B3. Mandatory protection system provide more security controls than category C or D systems. More granularity of control is mandated, so security administrator can apply specific controls that allow only very limited set of subjects or objects access. This category of system is based on the Bell-LaPadula model. Mandatory access is based on security labels. We have the verified protection category, which is the category A. Verified protection systems are similar to B3 systems in the structure and controls they employ. The difference is in the development cycle. Each phase of the development cycle is controlled using formal methods. Each phase of the standard of design is documented, evaluated, and verified before the next step is taken. This forces extreme security consciousness during all steps of development and deployment, and is the only way to formally guarantee strong system security. In this standard, security begins at lower class and control mechanism and end in the high class with mechanism that a clever and determined user cannot circumvent. The Orange Book standard also defines trusted systems and measures of trust in terms of security, policy, and assurance. TSEC or Orange Book is part of the Rainbow series of different manuals cut out by the US federal government agency. TSEC is no longer used. It has been replaced in 2005 with common criteria. We now talk about the common criteria. Common criteria for information technology security evaluation, which is actually abbreviated as Common Criteria or CC, is an international standard for computer security certification. Common criteria is an international set of guidelines and specifications developed for evaluating information security products specifically to ensure that they meet the agreed upon security standard for government development. Common criteria have two key components which are protection profile and evaluation assurance. Protection profile, otherwise known as PPRO, define a standard set of security requirements for specific types of products such as firewalls. The evaluation assurance level, which is also known as the EAL, defines how thoroughly the product is tested. Evaluation assurance level is scaled from 1 to 7, with 1 being the lowest level of evaluation and 7 being the highest level of evaluation. A higher level of evaluation does not mean the product has a higher security, only that the product went through more tests. To submit a product for evaluation, the vendor first complete a security target description, which includes the overview of the product and product security features and the evaluation of potential security threats, and vendor self-assessment, determining how the product conforms to the relevant protection profile. The laboratory then tests the product to verify the product security features and evaluate how well it meets the specification defined in the protection profile. The result of the successful evaluation forms the basis for official certification of the product. The goal of the common criteria certification is to assure the customer that the product they are buying has been evaluated and the vendor names has been verified. The CC evaluation assurance levels, we have the scale from 1 to 7. The first on the list is EAL1, which is functionality tested applies when some confidence in correct operation is required, but where threats to security are not serious. The evaluation assurance level 2, which is structurally tested, applies when delivery of design information and test results are in keeping with good commercial practices. The level 3, which is methodically tested and checked. Evaluation level 4, methodically designed, tested and reviewed. Evaluation 5, which is semi-formal, designed and tested. Evaluation assurance level 6, which is semi-formally verified, designed and tested, and evaluation level 7, which is formally verified, designed and tested, and this is the highest of it. Common criteria originated out of 3 standards, which are ITSEC, CTCPEC, and TCSEC. ITSEC, this is the European standard which was developed in the early 1990s by France, Germany, Netherlands, and the UK. The CTCPEC, which is the Canadian standard, followed from the US Department of Defense standard, but avoided several problems and used jointly by evaluation from both US and Canada. The CPEC standard was first published in May 1993. TSEC, the United States Department of Defense, called Orange Book and part of the Rainbow series. The Orange Book originated from computer security work, including the Adansi report done by the National Security Agency and the Bureau of Standards. The central thesis of the Orange Book follows from the work done by Dave Bell and Len LaPadula for a set of protection mechanisms. We now talk about certification and accreditation. The government uses certification and accreditation process to determine whether the system may be in use in the government sector. Certification and accreditation at the government levels are not only complicated but confidential. Certification is the comprehensive technical evaluation of the security components and the compliance for the purpose of accreditation. Certification process may use safeguards, evaluation, risk analysis, verification, testing, and auditing techniques to assess appropriate specific assessment. Certification is a technical review that assesses the security mechanism and evaluate their efficiency. An example of certification is the ISO 27001 standard certification process. They are notable after IT frameworks that the government or senior management should or can do to implement in order to ensure the governance is being run with minimal risk to the business. See link for better understanding of framework. For example, suppose this is an example of certification and accreditation to know the difference between the certification and accreditation. For example, suppose Steve is the security officer for a company that just purchased new system to be used to process confidential data. You want to know if the systems are appropriate for the task and if they are going to provide the necessary level of protection, and also want to make sure they are compatible with the current environment to not reduce productivity and to not open new doors to threats. Basically, Steve wants to know if these are the right product for the company. He could as well outsource the job to his company, which specializes in this matter, to perform the necessary procedure to certify the system. But he decided to carry out the process internally. The evaluation team will perform tests on the software configuration, hardware, firmware, design, implementation, system procedure, physical and communication control. The goal of this certification process is to ensure that the system product or network is right for the customer's purpose. Customer will rely on products for slight differences to ensure that the system product reasons environment will have different threats level. So a particular product might not be the best fit for every single customer out there, although vendors will always try to convince customer otherwise. The product must provide the right functionality and security for individual customer, which is the whole process of certification processes. The certification processes and the corresponding documentation will include the good, the bad, and the ugly about the product and how it works with the environment. Steve takes the result of the test and presents it to the management for accreditation processes. Accreditation is the formal acceptance of the adequacy of a system overall security and functionality by the management. The certification information is presented to the management or responsible bodies, and it's up to the management to ask questions, review the result of the findings, and decide on whether to take up the product or whether any corrective action needs to take place. And once satisfied with the system overall security as presented,